Okay. Well. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to week 6 of our stay-at-home SOMO at-home programs for our communications lesson 6. We are so very blessed to have everyone joining us via on YouTube or on Zoom. And if you guys are watching later, please leave comments on what you guys would like to learn from us. And today's lesson is going to be about verbal and nonverbal communication and how that makes things very, very vivid and different with every presentation that you give. So my name is Sandbothe. I am a Special Olympics athlete and the first ever hired employee of Special Olympics Missouri. And I am very blessed to be joined by my co-host, Mary Niswanger from Cape Girardeau. She is very, very instrumental into a lot of our successes. And then also, live we have with us Stephanie Luttrell. She is from the St. Louis area. And, we're going to be doing some Q&As with her later on in our session. So we are very, very blessed to have her. So welcome.
Yes, thank you, Derek. And thank you, Stephanie, for being with us. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into what you're up to and some of your expert advice here later on. Thank you all so much for joining us. As Derek said, today we're going to focus on verbal and nonverbal communication. We know that we talked through this really towards the beginning of all of our sessions, but we brushed over it very quickly. But we decided that it's something that we really need to go back and focus on because it is so, so important to everything that we communicate. So Derek, as we've started out every single week, why don't you give us that general definition of communications?
Okay. Well, communication is just the act of giving, receiving, and sharing of information.
Yes, and as we've learned the last few weeks, it's not just about standing up and delivering a speech at a podium. Communication revolves around us every single day, all day long. Even when we're stuck at home, we're communicating constantly. That's why verbal and nonverbal communication and understanding what they mean and how important they are is just really, really critical to good communication. So we've talked the last few weeks about, we've talked about the 3 components. We have a sender, a message, and a receiver. Has anyone ever heard of encoding and decoding a message? Basically, we know that the sender encodes the message. It's up to them to deliver it and to deliver it correctly in the right way. And then the receiver decodes that message. They piece it apart and it's how they understand it. That's why the nonverbals that we put with our verbal are so important because the receiver is constantly decoding that message. If we're sending the wrong message, it's not going to make sense. So Derek, how about you go over verbal communication and what that is?
Sure. So what is verbal communication? And how do you use words to deliver your message? Well, it can be face-to-face conversations. It could be just giving speeches. It can be over the phone, via text message, email.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of, me and Derek were talking about this, a lot of people get it confused. I think I even always thought that even some of those written messages were nonverbals. That's actually considered verbal communication. You're choosing words to use. And we're going to talk about how nonverbals are other things that complement these things. But we all have face-to-face conversations constantly. Maybe not right now, but maybe we are doing Zoom or over the phone, texting, emailing. But the words we choose really define what we're saying. They're delivering our message, but there's other things that go along with that. Again, it's not just about standing up and giving a speech or doing a Q&A session or giving an elevator speech. It's really constantly what the words we choose to communicate all day long. Stephanie, do you have any other examples of verbal communication? We kind of hit them all. Oh, you're on mute.
I don't
There
know
you
how
are.
to get it.
Here, we can hear. Oh, here, we can hear you now. Well,
Unmute. Can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Different community. Now, what were you saying?
No, you're fine. That list really kind of encompasses all of them. There's that, I mean, it's
yeah,
really interesting.
you specifically pretty much said it all. Basically, pretty much summed it all up and all in one. With all what you were saying. With
Sure.
verbal communications.
Yes. Well, we'll loop back in a little bit. We'll loop back in a little bit and get your opinion on why these are so important. I know that you've been thinking about that. So we'll come back to that. Just wanted to see if we were missing anything, but I think, Derek, we covered everything. So
Right.
how about we go on to nonverbal communication?
Yeah, we know what is nonverbal communication. Well, nonverbals sends messages without words and, oh, hang on. Okay. I cannot.
It's okay, and still gives.
Okay.
Is it blocked?
It still gives meaning, often expresses, and also often expresses emotions by using body language, gestures, and posture, your facial expressions, your eye contact, and then props like maybe medals or pictures can be used in your presentations. Those are more nonverbal, basically kind of like a show and tell type of deal. So those are all different ways you can speak nonverbally.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to explain a little bit more about body language, gestures, and posture, what you mean by that?
Sure. Body language, means by sitting straight up and not being slouched over. That's good posture, and that's also a really good way of letting people know that you're not just there. And also with gestures and stuff, it will show, how you react and stuff, to what your audience is doing. And like I said, posture and stuff, would be good. And if you're slouched over and stuff, you're not really there, I guess, per se, but also if your posture and stuff, your arms are back and stuff, you're feeling good and stuff, you can pretty much do it. You feel like you're really, really in your comfort zone.
Absolutely. So if we're, if our shoulders are in and our head is down, what kind of message is that sending to our audience? It shows either that we're scared or that we're closed off and we're not being very open to our audience. So that can really determine how they're decoding our message.
Right.
Also, hand movements, and I know I do this every week and I use them a whole lot, and they can be distracting. So I have to really concentrate on that. But hand gestures can either be really good or they can be really bad, because they can kind of add emphasis to what you're saying, or they can be super, super distracting and no one can listen to what you're saying because you're constantly moving around. So it's important to be aware of those things because they can either help your message or hurt your message. And then do you want to explain a little bit more about facial expressions?
Sure. Facial expressions, means by like if you're rolling your eyes and stuff, you're not really paying attention, so, you're just kind of there. But if you're really engaged with your audience and, looking around a little bit more and also being able to see out to your speech and stuff every once in a while, and then being able to look at your audience and be able to speak freely and stuff, that really, really opens things up, and it lets people know that, you know, that you are really tuned in, and that they would like to be able to, that they can see into you and be able to tell that you are engaged with your stories that you're wanting to share.
Absolutely. Hi, Amanda.
Hey,
Thank you for joining us.
you're welcome.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
We're just doing a short lesson on verbal and nonverbal communication. If you have anything to add, feel free to wave or shout out anything you need, okay?
Okay.
So
I
we've
was
been,
going to add a little bit about what Dick is talking about.
yeah, please
Taking
do.
a class on facial expressions and body language. I'm learning that as we speak.
Cool. What have you been learning?
I've learned about body language of being a part of the group. If you're sitting in outer space or anything, you're not part of the group. Lowering your eyes, that's, you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
you can seem really disengaged if
yes.
if it looks like you're not paying attention. Absolutely.
I take a social skills class called Life Ops. It's a ability program. But Stephanie has taken that before. She's on, which I'm glad she is.
That's cool. Yeah, you guys
And
are
I
too.
take that on Fridays.
That's awesome. Well, you two can definitely add to our conversation. We appreciate that. You know, and I always think of facial expressions. You know, if I'm giving a speech and I'm telling my story, or if I'm just in a conversation and I'm saying, well, 2 weeks ago, my favorite Special Olympics moment happened, and I got a gold medal, and it was really great, and it was just the best day of my life. Do my facial expressions match my
No,
message?
it does not.
No, no way. No way. If I was saying that and it was my favorite memory, I would probably be jumping for joy. But
Yes.
sometimes we have to remind ourselves that our audience, again, is decoding that message. And if we're delivering the wrong message, it's hard for them to understand how we're really feeling. That's where the expressing emotion comes in, and why nonverbal communication is just as important as verbal communication, because it sends a lot of messages. And eye contact, especially, I know Derek talked about this a little bit, but if you're having especially a face-to-face conversation, not just in front of a big audience where you can kind of pick a spot if you need to, even though it's important to move around the room, but in a face-to-face conversation, if someone is trying to talk to you and you're looking off into space, again, like Amanda said, it shows that you're disinterested, non-engaged, but it makes it really awkward and confusing. It's really hard to follow along with what you're saying. Our eyes tell a lot of the story.
Yes, it does.
Can you guys think of any other props? Stephanie, I know you sometimes take some props on speeches. What are some other examples of things you've taken? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
I didn't just take my medals, but I took my props, like pictures of me, of when I did golf, and my pins that you trade. And some
You've even taken like a big post. You've even taken like a big poster with things
the
on it, right?
poster. Yeah. And I showed, and then I shared when I talked about that. And I actually, if I had leftovers, I actually gave them pictures of me so they can have, and I signed it to give to them if they wanted it. So
Really cool.
yeah.
That's a way to make your message memorable, for sure.
And to actually share and to give out and to say and talk about Special Olympics. So memorable thing about Special Olympics. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Amanda, have you taken any props to anything?
Yes, I have. The Miss Amazing pageants.
Yeah, tell us about that and what you showed that complemented your message.
I'm not sure how many years it was, but I took a hula hoop to that and did showed off my skills of how I can hula hoop to sing the song "Let It Go" from Frozen.
That's cool. Did you have a PowerPoint that went along with your message?
That one, no, I did not. This a few months ago, yes, I did.
Okay. And did that help complement your message then? Do you think it was better for the audience to understand and get a visual?
Yes, it was. Which is why I wanted to be a part of this, because I'm gonna need all the help I can get from the two of you, because now I'm at the national level.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you found ways to complement your message with nonverbal communication. Especially, I mean, you figured out now, and Stephanie, I know you know this too, and Derek, you've been a host of different things, especially when you're on stage at different events, people are watching you. And
Yeah.
if you're distracted or you're rolling your eyes or you're closed off, you're not sending the right message. So it's important to be aware of that. Definitely, especially while you're on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady, you go, Mark.
So for you all, are you all able to read another person's body language? Do you think it's as important as what we're talking about, or do you think body language really isn't a big deal?
To me, yes, it is.
It is a big deal.
Why do you think?
From my
Because
past experience,
when
yes.
Oh, here, Amanda, why don't you start since you had started talking first, and then Stephanie.
Sorry, Steph. I'm glad you're on part of this.
it's okay.
With my past experience, I've learned about body language is because I wasn't the greatest at it, and I would be read like a hawk. If others can help me in the right direction, Steph.
Okay.
Could you help me out, please?
I sure can. Um, um, I don't know where you're kind of talking at, but I feel
think she said.
that I don't know where she's
I think
because I
Amanda
can't
was
hear
saying.
quite well, but
I think
can you
Amanda
help?
was saying that sometimes she feels like she was feeling like she was watched like a hawk. Was that what you said, Amanda?
Yes.
So like eyes were on her, and maybe she wasn't. Maybe the message she was trying to send wasn't being received the way she was trying to send it. So
Yes.
I think sometimes people aren't aware of their facial expressions, and so sometimes it's received that they're in a bad mood or they're upset about something when actually they're not. So that's why it's important to be aware of how people are receiving your nonverbal communications. I think that was where she was going with that.
Okay. I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why
That's all right.
that
What I was getting at
Oh.
was when I moved out here in the year 2013, I had no idea about body language or facial expressions. And that's when I was had my feelings hurt with all of this and I had my feelings hurt by others and I didn't know what to do. That was my point.
Okay. And that's why it is very important that we have body language. It is very important that we have body language. because we have to be able to express our body language, and it is important that we have body language, and it is okay to express our body language, because we have to be able to express our body language, because it's important to know, and be able to get out what we need, so we all know, because other people know, because not everybody knows, because we won't know if somebody's hurt or if somebody's angry or somebody's upset, or if
Well, and sometimes I was going to say sometimes words just aren't enough. That's why
right.
it's important that
some people don't talk, and some athletes may not, some athletes don't communicate. Some athletes may not express their feelings like others do, in ways that others do. So it's important that we have body language.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
So it is okay to express body language.
Yep.
So,
Derek, do you have any other thing to add about why it's so important to be? Really, I think the biggest lesson from today is being aware of the message we're sending to others, which I think that goes along with a lot of our lessons we've talked about the last few weeks, tailoring our message, knowing your target audience. All of that is about being aware of your message and what you're sending to your audience. So how else do you feel, why is this so important? Why have we gone back to it?
Well, the reason why I go back to all of those previous lessons is because, we weren't trying to emphasize the difference in speeches and the way we deliver speeches, and also, like we have an analogy that me and Mary used, and stuff, it's called the hamburger analogy and stuff, and you really want a good burger, and so you got to have all the good components. You got to have an opening, a body, and a closing, and you really want to captivate your audience with your opening, because that's going to lead up to the really good stuff. And so, about what makes special effects so important to you, what makes special effects so important to others, and why we should share our love for special effects with others.
And I think so with that, if your speech doesn't have any nonverbal communication with it, it's probably not going to make it as great of a speech as it would be. Or if you have the wrong nonverbals with it, it might deliver your message totally different than what you've written out or what you've planned.
Right.
I think that's why it's so important.
Right, and see, also along with this body language section, you want to be able to express yourself exactly how you feel at that moment. Like, put yourself in a position where, like, if you went to a national games, you are going to be absolutely psyched up, pumped, and you're not going to come back and say, "Oh, this is my favorite part of the Special Olympics." I actually became part of the very first ever USA national basketball team, and this is how we did, and all that kind of stuff that we have done. You want to be excited, you want to be pumped up, and that's going to be good facial expressions also. So facial expressions and your body language go hand in hand together.
Yes, I love that, taking yourself back to that moment. I think that's really important. It's important to remember those feelings that you felt in those great moments, so that when you're sharing your story, you can properly convey that, you can deliver it, because that's what's going to take the audience on that journey with you. They're going to feel like they were there with you. That's really good. So some points that we've been talking about, and you all have really talked about these already, but why nonverbals, why they're important, but also what their job is. So nonverbal messages should complement verbal communication. Sometimes they'll totally replace verbal, but a lot of times they'll serve as a complement. So like all three of you have been talking about, smiling, being joyful if you're telling a happy story, things that will complement, showing pictures, any way that can help tell your story. They can also underline or emphasize the verbal, kind of the same thing, complementing what you're talking about. Really show, not just sharing it, but showing it. So showing those pictures, say, this was the moment that I went to USA Games, and this is how I felt in that moment. That's where that is. But it can substitute for verbal, absolutely. We have some athletes that give entire speeches with props alone, and that can still tell the story. But it's still, even for them, it's important to watch their smiling, their eye contact, everything else, because those are just nonverbals that add to their message. And again, same thing we've kind of reiterated, but these nonverbal messages really can either make your message clear or unclear. They can be very confusing if you are putting different facial expressions or hand gestures with your message. For example, if I'm telling a really happy story, but I look angry or I'm moving my hands around, the audience is going to be like, what is happening? And you don't want that. But if they're used correctly and you're aware of them, it can make your message way more clear, which is really important. So I think our biggest message for today is to be aware of those nonverbals. Even when we're text messaging, when we're emailing, it's really, really important about the messages that we are sending to our audience. We've heard a lot already from Stephanie Luttrell. Stephanie, we wanted to get to know a little bit more about you for our audience. You are one of our Global Messenger athlete leaders. You've graduated from Athlete Leadership Programs University. So I think Derek and I just wanted to ask you some questions so that our audience can learn a little bit more about that. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience through athlete leadership?
Sure. Being an athlete leader, I have took communications. The first step I took, I had to take Intro to Alps. Then I had to after I took Intro to Alps, I then took some extra classes. I took finances, and then I took a health class to some other classes as well, and then I took Global Messenger 1 and Global Messenger 2, and then Capstone 1 and 2, and those were required classes I had to take to get my degree in communications. And for my capstone, in order for me to graduate, for my capstone, I decided to do this project, to do this club called the Yakety Yaks, to how do I say this? To do this socialization club for athletes in our area that don't really socialize very much, that don't really communicate, to try to come out of their comfort zone. So once every week come together and we form a group and we get together and we communicate and we do these fun activities and we get together and we pick out what we would like to do and maybe it would be like, and we vote and decide maybe like if we would like to just go get maybe ice cream or just go to the park or maybe maybe go bowling or just socialize somewhere.
Has that been effective? Like, are people enjoying that?
People have been enjoying, but it's been affected because of the COVID-19.
Sure.
So we've not been able to have it.
Sure.
But it
But
has.
before that,
But before that, it's been coming along, and we've had a group, and people have liked it, and it's been great. It's been a socialization distance, and athletes have really liked it. So,
that's
and
cool.
I'm hoping that it will become bigger and get better and bigger and make it.
And hopefully you all will be able to be together again soon.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we hope that we've definitely learned at Special Olympics, especially through this at-home programming, that it's really important to stay connected even virtually online.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's an option for your group as well.
Yeah.
Lena, I just saw that you're on here. I'm sorry. You were hidden. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Lena.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry I came late.
Lena.
Hi, Stephanie.
It's great to see you.
Derek. Hi,
Hey,
Amanda.
Lena, how are you doing, girl?
Good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
But and also this communication in Alps has helped me learn a lot.
Mhm.
Being a leader has made me learn a lot of things. Even in communications, it has helped me experience and learn being a leader a lot of different things. So yeah.
Derek, was there something you wanted to ask Stephanie?
What are your greatest moments that you've experienced throughout, maybe not just Alps, but throughout maybe your Special Olympics career?
I would have to say, since I've been in Special Olympics, just this one's hard.
Maybe
Well,
Stephanie, do you want to
let me
tell
put
it?
it to you this way.
Yeah.
If you could think of one powerful thing that you've learned through Special Olympics, what would be your very most memorable thing about Special Olympics? What do you love about Special Olympics?
You can answer that, Steph.
What I love the most about Special Olympics is just being with the Special Olympics family. I just love being a part of Special Olympics and being around the Special Olympics family and the athletes. I just love being around all my friends and my family and being able to compete and have fun and being able to help volunteer and just being out there and having fun and helping others and
Very
just
cool.
enjoying and having fun.
And I can
One
see.
thing that shocked me is not knowing that I was going to be the 2018 Outstanding Athlete of the Year. I had no idea. That was a shocker to me. That's one thing that caught me off guard. So, yeah,
And how did that make
that was
how,
shocking to me.
yeah, how did that make you feel?
That made me feel really good about. I was shocked. That was surprising, overwhelming. Yeah.
That's neat. Well, I love watching you all because like Lena and Amanda are smiling. We're smiling so big different times when you talk about the Special Olympics family. And that's where what we've been talking about all day, making people feel something and delivering your message properly. Stephanie, you just telling that story, we heard joy in your voice, and you smiling that we hadn't heard you yet this call. So that was really a great I know you weren't doing it on purpose necessarily. It was just involuntary, but it's so important that adds to your message. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can you tell us about graduating from Athlete Leadership University?
Yeah. That day really made me feel so good because it made me feel like I was graduating from college, because it made me feel really good inside and out, because I've never graduated from college. It made me feel like I was graduating from like a university, like I was like getting a big diploma. Like, it made me feel really good, and like it felt like I deserved something, and yeah, it felt so good. Like I accomplished something, and it, you know, like I did something, um, like accomplished something, and um, that I deserved, and I kept pushing myself, you know. Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
If there could be
that was
one,
all.
if there's one special thing that you could share with other athletes that you have learned through our Alps University that you would like to share with others, what would you, what kind of advice would you have for other athletes that are thinking about going through athlete leadership?
If I had one thing to tell athletes out there, I would tell athletes out there, try not to be scared, to try to not thinking about it's college, to not think about it as it being a school, to think about it as being a role model, that you're going to be a role model for others and other athletes, and that you're going to be a leader for others, and you're going to be how should I say it?
I think that's a great point about thinking about how it can make you a role model. It's great.
That's what and that you're going to be a successful for other athletes out there, and that it's not being like a study plan thing.
What?
That you're going to be successful.
Are you feeling all right?
Absolutely. Well, we are so proud of you, and thank you
You
for
have?
sharing some great thoughts. Um, we just appreciate you being on here today, and I remember back when you took Global Messenger too, and we had you come and speak and give your speech the last day to everyone before the Alps University concluded, and you did such a great job of not only using all the parts of a speech and really going through those steps, but sharing your story very effectively and being cognizant, being aware of your nonverbal communication. So that's why we wanted to have you on today. So thank you for sharing your expertise with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Did
I
anyone
think you
else
did
have
a
any?
very good job there.
Yes. Does anyone have anything to add or any questions? Lena, did you have any thoughts? I'm sorry that I didn't see you on there until later on. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I came late, so
Okay, that makes that's fine. But I'm so sorry you were down on the I just didn't see your smiling face yet. So do you have anything you want to add or any questions for anyone?
nope, I think it's all good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Definitely. Does anyone else have any questions?
I do.
Okay, what?
Okay.
Fire away.
I have an idea, but I don't know if we can do this or not. Within the athlete leadership program, is there a way we could do a class on body language and facial expressions?
Very possible.
Yeah, we cover a lot of it in Global Messenger 1 and Global Messenger 2. Kind of today was kind of a brief snippet of what we talk about. I know that we also have some other great classes called like Engage Storytelling and different things that kind of help you get in tune with your expressions and what the audience is getting from you. And so we definitely have some options, but that's a great idea, and we'll bring that back to the Alps management team and tell them that you had asked for more of that.
Cool.
Cool. All right. Well, Derek, do you want to close us out for today?
Sure. Well, I really want to thank everyone, especially Stephanie, for joining us today. It was really good to be able to see you and stuff again. It's been quite a while and stuff, but I know that we will all get together again soon. But anyways, you can follow our Special Olympics Missouri experience, and you can also, well, I should say you could experience our Special Olympics Missouri at-home programming, either at home at Special Olympics Missouri, hashtag SOMO at home. You can even look up our programs on our website, which is somo.org/at home. You could even, and then you can also learn about our athlete leadership program like we were talking about today at our website, which is somo.org/house. And if any athlete who is interested in joining Special Olympics, our athlete leadership program, please let me know, let Mary know. We would gladly love to talk to you about joining Special Olympics Alps and what it is about and what kind of classes we can offer to you. And we hope to be able to see you all very, very soon. And so thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Linda. And thank you, Stephanie, for joining us today. We are so glad to have you all. It's very, very, it's always a great great way to see our athletes. So it's really glad to see you all. So great participation today.
Yes.
So you all did a great job.
Yes, and thank you to anyone watching on YouTube or watching at a later date. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or leave comments. We're going to put up our email address for Derek and I. Please reach out to us if you, again, have anything you want to share. We also hope that all of you are signed up for our virtual summer games coming up. It's a great way to train and compete from home. We're going to have an awesome Spirit Week. We're going to have an opening ceremony, so many fun things you don't want to miss. So make sure if you're not signed up, you go to www.somo.org/virtual summer games. There's a ton of information there on how to sign up and the schedule of events. You don't want to miss it. So please, please, please follow that website. somo.org/virtual summer games. Yes,
Hey,
Amanda.
Mary, I'm not able to do that.
That's okay.
with my work schedule, I'm not able to.
It's
Well,
okay.
I would still follow the link, Amanda, and look at the different things going on because maybe there's something that you can do. Maybe you can't do everything, but maybe there's something you can do, or maybe at the least, join us for opening ceremony or something that you can be a part of virtually, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you all take care, and we'll have a communications lesson next Friday at 1 if anyone would like to join us.
Cool.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you all. So good to see you.
Good to see you
Bye.
too.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye.